Great. Okay. So welcome everyone. Today's group is small, so everyone here has followed, explored spirituality, practiced it in their own way. So I'm glad that today's group is mature and we can actually go into some advanced thinking thought forms of spirituality, because I wanted to do that today. So I didn't want it to be basic for some reason. I just wanted to take it up a few notches. So because I've just been exploring too. So I want to start with this and welcome everybody out there. And stay put. If you lose us somewhere, just keep at it. You'll pick us up. And that's what spirituality is. Something there will connect to you, and I'm sure you'll want to be part of it, or learn it, or listen to it at least with an open mind. So there's a story or experience I want to share with you. There was a time in around 2000. My awakening was 1992, but around 2000, I started to feel this emptiness. And I started to, even though I was doing a lot of work with the people, I was working about 18 hours a day. So that's 18 people a day I worked with, 1 hour each. So I had no time to myself. But I started to feel empty, and I started to feel this need to explore myself further, that who am I? So I could see what I was doing. I could see that absolutely I had access to a field of intuition, intelligence, and wisdom, which was not there before my awakening to that degree, to that scale. So I wanted answers from myself, just to get to know myself more. So at that time, it was very interesting that one of my partners, his grandmother was dying, and she was a very spiritual lady. She was in Edmonton. And she, for some reason, she wanted to exit from the physical body, because now she was in the hospital and not able to die, not able to give up her breath. So she connected with me, and she asked me if I would help her make the transition. So, which I had done for my other clients who were in a lot of pain. I would actually help them make that transition. So I kind of knew, I don't know, again, I never learned it, but I had this insight how to do it. So of course I help her with that. And then before she departs from her body, she says, if you help me with this, if my transition is really easy and effortless, that means that I want to wake up from this death into the astral planes with the same knowing, same knowledge, same wisdom. I don't want to lose one iota of what I know today. And that's the transition I'm looking for. So imagine that, because there's usually a forgetfulness. We don't know our past lives. We don't even remember what we did a few years ago, a few days ago maybe, right? So, but this is another, in spirituality, we can access this wisdom, this level of intelligence. So she said, so make sure that I go to the other side. I have my relatives or whoever else will come to receive me. I'm guided and totally protected by her spiritual guides. And then nothing is lost from this life. And I want to wake up to the other side as I left here. So, and then she said that, and if you can do that, you can do that. I said, are you sure I can do that? Yeah, you can do that. And I'll promise you something. In return, I'll give you something. And I said, what are you going to give me in return? She says, well, you want to know who you are. And you haven't you've accessed a lot of the gifts, but you really don't know who you are. And I'll put you in touch so you can see for yourself who you are. I will come back after so many days after my transition. So the deal was done. You know, I didn't understand how she would deliver this, but that's just a promise. So it took us, maybe next day she passed away or something like that. And when she was passing away, she was telling her, she was giving messages as to who had come to receive her and everything. And as she was going through her transition, it was like this transition was happening through me. So I could feel and experience everything she was experiencing. So I saw everything she could. So I was able to say, yes, now her brother's there, her father's come, there's a policeman there. And like I described the entire event of her passing away. And that's exactly what she was telling them in Edmonton, except I was in Winnipeg and I had no physical connection with her. But I'm going through this. So 3 days I lay down, I couldn't get up from the bed, and I helped her with this transition. So coming back to her delivering now the promise, she comes back and she starts to give me wisdom and very interesting information. At that time, it was information. And then she said, okay, I'm going to give you a very powerful spiritual technique where you will be able to access your past lives. And you will, whatever number you access, will answer everything, why you're doing what you're doing, who you are, why you chose to be in this field of spirituality, where are these gifts coming from, everything will make sense after you've seen those five lives or 4 lives, whatever. But this meditation will put you in touch with your past. So I was pretty tickled, and she said 40 days of meditation, so I started to do that meditation. Sure enough, I think it was about 42nd day or 3rd day like that, where I started to have the first experience. So, and I had 5 experiences, which actually molded my consciousness, shifted my consciousness, and made it was like accessing all this wisdom of so many lives. And then I remembered what Buddha had said. Buddha said that you don't need to meditate to de-stress. That is not the reason for meditation, to be de-stressed. It's actually to transcend with wisdom of the past, the suffering or the pain that you will encounter if you do not transcend. So, and that can only be done through meditation. So the meditation techniques that he suggested, and the reason for that was to tap into the wisdom that we carry from one life to the other, or the collective consciousness. So we don't want to start every life as a student. If you woke up every day not remembering who you are, and then having to gather that knowledge or whatever, how is it possible? And that's kind of what happens to us, because we forget. So I always had this question, how can you forget? If you know, how can you forget? Unless you choose to forget consciously, then you can pretend. And you cannot wake up, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and he would say, Rupi, he says, you can wake up a sleeping man, but you cannot wake up a man who's pretending to sleep. So I felt there was missing gaps in our consciousness, in our psyche, where we couldn't tap into our own history. And I wanted that. So these visions actually brought that forth. But one of the visions which I want to share, and I want to start my conversation for today with that, was very significant for me. I saw myself as a 6-year-old Tibetan boy in Tibet, in the Himalayas, and then being chosen due to my intuitiveness or the level of different dimensions I could access at age 6. And then being trained by the Tibetan masters to work on consciousness and retaining the memory, so you do not lose it from, one life to the other, or one experience to the other. You don't lose the wisdom. So you actually can enter at will many dimensions of consciousness. You can hold them all in one frame, and through certain techniques, you can actually come into that intuitiveness and wisdom, and then live your life for what you're meant to live now and here. Not learning, but actually now practicing, bringing it into the world. So bringing that wisdom. So one of the techniques that the masters, and these were rough, very strong, ruthless masters, they didn't allow us just for our thought to sway. So first thing is that you cannot actually, I see myself that I'm sitting in front of a fire and the master, Tibetan master, is sitting across from me, and he can see every thought when thought sways. And strangely, I do that too now for other people. I know exactly when they've moved their thought, right? So, but he can see it. And when he sees he's asking me to stare, to gaze at this fire, which is burning between me and him, so a few logs. So I keep my gaze there, but if I move my thought, he actually has these sharp pebbles that he got from the flowing river, and he throws one on the third eye, and when it hits me, I come back to the third eye, to this position. So then there's blood trickling because some of these stones are really sharp. So first I'm angry because I'm so young that, what the hell, this, like, I'm being punished. This is not spiritual life, I thought, because I thought I would be trained to be some big lama or something. But this is not the way you throw stones at a young child. But then soon the pain went away. And what happened is when the pain went away, I could just feel sensations, and I held my gaze very easily on the third eye, and yet gaze on the fire, but focus here. It's really strange how I could simultaneously do that. And at that time, I started to, because it was a test for me too. They wanted to see whether truly I was capable of the work that I would do in that life. So I had to pick up the wisdom from the first three masters that had passed away and tell them where each master had stopped, where they died, and transferred the knowledge to the other. So I had to go back 3 times and narrate the entire wisdom and their body of work, in, of course, my own language, of what I was seeing, right? So I was able to do that. And then, of course, the master explains to me that the way you are seeing, you're holding your focus on this frame where you're seeing yourself right now. You've got your eye also on the third eye, and the fire on me here and now, but everywhere were these masters, where you're able to tap into that consciousness and bring it into the space-time. So that act was with seeing. So seeing was without thinking. That's what I was taught. That, when you look at something, you see something, you're thinking. But the art was, the wisdom was, the training was that you see without thinking. Now, why was that done? It was actually really interesting that because a lot of us think unconsciously. Well, most humanity, we all think unconsciously. So we may be aware of 2% of what we've thought. Even when we come to the brain, how much of our brain is like conscious? How much intelligence is there? 2%, maybe, not even that. Out of that, we still have some unconscious thinking. So actually, minimal. So no wonder we are always in this mediocre field of intelligence and wisdom and intuition. So, so coming to this exercise again, when you see things in one frame, you're able to grasp it or get the meaning of it also, but comprehend it with a different level of intelligence. So you can actually come out and say that meant, if you need to refresh anything, that meant this meant this meant this, because not only are you seeing images, but you're actually, from the images, you're picking up the meaning and the entire story of that. Now, since you're not thinking, because when we think from our perspective, our belief system. So we actually think really poorly, because you can be a clever thinker, but you're still going to have your personal filters. You can't see more than you are, right? So this technique of seeing, I could actually grab a lot more intuition, a lot more wisdom. So energetically, you transfer everything that's in this space. Coming to today, I just did a radio show a few days ago, which was on transparency. And when we talk about transparency, um, it's not about telling the truth or telling the lies, or it's not about that. It's holding the space of transparency. We've got space, mind space. In that, transparency is like a refined quality of consciousness that allows you to see everything through and through without thinking. So that means there's no analysis, there's no judgment, there's nothing. You're just seeing. And this is what I was describing on the radio show, that if we don't hold this space within us, if we have not cultivated or developed this space of self-transparency within, we cannot offer it to anybody else. So when people are talking, we are mostly thinking of how we will reply. We don't have that silence and no wonder our communications are not that brilliant. It takes us a lot of words, because the words people use and the tone we use sometimes could be misleading. We are not getting the meaning. So if you have the space built into your system, which we naturally have, we can actually access the meaning of what they could be saying too. Not the words, because sometimes people don't express it in the right words, or their language or communication problem, right? So, so I was coming into that, and this whole issue came up, and the past life, came up. And then I remembered, of course, I had seen this there, and no wonder that's the system I use of seeing without thinking. So another thing is that when I'm sure you all have experienced, there's a lot of thoughts that we deliberately misplace because we don't want to look at them. There's a lot of thoughts that we don't want to look at it because there's a story behind it, and we are not ready to experience that story. So this could be because maybe some trauma happened, or some terrorizing thing may have happened, or we just aren't mature enough to understand. So we put that away. So a lot of actually consciously, even what we may have experienced in the thought field is now put away and forgotten in a vault somewhere, but it's all in the mind. Do you know you can access every thought that you have ever thought in this space through, of course, the techniques? Every thought. And every thought is not a thought, it's a story of something with meaning and understanding, right? But when we look at it mentally, if I pick up a thought from the past, and I look at it, then I may not quite understand the meaning. If I even understand the meaning, then next year my meaning could change, because today's meaning is different. When I have a few more experiences, then my meaning could change too. So I suggest that we actually use very, very little wisdom. Wisdom is information that people are sharing right now, which we call wisdom. It's wisdom of others. But what about your own wisdom? Do you really need others' wisdoms? Do you need to really know what Buddha said? Are you not the Buddha yourself? Why are we not tapping into our wisdom, our commandments, our ethics? Those people like Buddha or the prophets, they inspired us to go within and do the same. They did not want you sitting at somebody's feet and being a slave and being dependent on them, right? So I think somewhere along the line, that wisdom has gone missing, because we've gone into rituals. We've actually adopted rituals, and with the rituals, we actually feel that may be enough to manage life. Also, somewhere along the line, we want just enough energy or intelligence to manage life. Now, I think that's a shabby goal. It's a very important goal if you're highly stressed and physically sick. But for a healthy mind and a vibrant body, should this be the goal? You're doomed, because you're already dead. Because your knowledge actually is so confined, you will never move 1 inch from what you know. Now, the danger is that you will hold that knowledge as pure wisdom, And you will challenge others who are speaking differently because you've never experienced anything else. So I think in this day and age, there's, we have a lot of peace. We are not in that kind of chaos that we had earlier on. We are managing well. So in this day and age, I think it is up to us to take the leap and just go a few steps farther than just management. Because either way, how well can you manage your life? Sooner or later, it'll fall. Disease will come, death will come. Are you going to save the entire world from dying? No. Are you going to save people from pain, all of them? No. So if we set up as role models a legacy of curiosity and learning and tapping into the wisdom, we may get somewhere. We may have some more happier people. And I'm not saying happiness is the goal, because I think when you have happiness as your goal, then be ready for a lot of happiness, because what you think will make you happy may not happen. And so when people have peace as a goal, expect a lot of turbulence. So these goals are not meaningful. I think when you come into deep-rooted wisdom, and how should humanity behave now in this day and age, because so much has changed. What is the meaning of our lives? What is the meaning of our existence in 2018? So I think those questions trigger a lot of excitement and vibrancy, especially in me, and I hope it's contagious and it's passed on to others. So today, I would like to do something. I want to, we have about 5 minutes. We can actually talk just to see we're also on the same page. But I would like to, in the meditation today, create that space for you. At least start the baby steps today. So, and it's a beautiful practice because you can do it with eyes open. You can do it with the eyes closed. You can do it anywhere at all. And there's no thing that says it's not time bound. If you have 2 minutes, you can do it for 2 minutes. If you have 5. But I think we owe it to ourselves. And let us just scale our own wisdom. And that we can do by actually taking issue, which was very painful to us, and seeing from 1 to 10, the scale, how much it's bothering us. 1 week later, visit that issue and see what that scale is. See if you were able to make it inclusive, because what's happening is that with pain also was pleasure and peace. Pain never comes nothing comes in isolation. Somewhere in your life, somebody may be giving you pain, but somebody there simultaneously also was bringing peace, right? So everything happens, there's always backdrops to many experiences. So, but somehow our focus, when it remains on one thing, then we only experience that. So I would say, this is a bold statement, that you are what you have focused on. You are not anything you never focused on. Now tell me how little focus was. What have you lived? Right? Because if you're living only the quality or the scale as to your focus, it's very minimal, right? So this is the meditation I want to do. I'm going to teach you. But before that, is there any question, or are you driving with does it make sense? Or because sometimes these things just, because I know them, they come naturally, and sometimes I forget that I need to explain more. So does it make sense? Yeah? Okay.
When we talk about other individuals who can inspire us with their wisdom, not necessarily use the wisdom, but certainly, I feel like we can be inspired or learn from their wisdom to take and incorporate, maybe not all of it, but parts of it into your own wisdom.
Yeah.
I enjoy learning all the time from others.
So when we learn, absolutely. I think that is what keeps us young and fresh and healthy. And now, when we learn, we obviously learn from what we have inside us already, from our memory, what's stored in the memory, because you can never, a teacher may not be able to take you to a place you've never been before. He or she may introduce you to something, but for you, it's information. And if you like the teacher, you may trust that information and absorb it, maybe try it or do it. But learning is so important, then maybe that learning to make it your own, so it works for you. And how will you, according to your soul frequency, according to what you are here to do, how will you implement that learning? That is your personal wisdom. We must be always inspired by others. We must. That's why we need these wise people, philosophers and prophets and scientists, and we need inspiration. But then how do we convert that into personal wisdom? And how do we access that wisdom? It's through the field of intuition. It's not psychic ability, it's intuition. It's a direct link. So when you have it inside, you can actually automatically, when you see things, like I said, the technique we'll follow, you will notice even in a week's time, your intuitiveness is more. And that's a great tool to actually bring out what you need for today. You can't bring up, otherwise the field is so big. I could be bringing up any life, any thought, but it's that intuitiveness. What am I doing today? Who am I with today? How much do I need to deliver today? You know, you've seen people who keep sharing and they don't know that you are not with them anymore. You lost them a long time ago, right? So their intuition is cut off somewhere. Yeah. And people who have great intuition are very wise, because they're tapping into inner wisdom. So they've taken their experiences somewhere along the line to whatever they did, and they've developed an inner, almost like a voice that's guiding them all the time. And it's almost like a field of wisdom. They can pluck, according to the situation, intuitively what they need. Yeah. Anybody who's done this work, I'm sure, Sona, even in Carl Jung, people must be intuitive, because through years of work, and all spiritualists will be highly intuitive, because you can't touch that field. What are you picking up? You can't be grabbing in the dark. Now, a lot of people, when they think of spirituality, they think, oh yeah, it's freedom to be who you want to be, and because religion gives you the ethics, don't do this and do this. So people feel, oh yeah, I'm free, I can be myself. Spirituality is not that. It's lifelong work of exploring. And with a fine tooth and comb, with microscopic vision, because you're learning and you're growing and implementing and growing, and then you carry from one moment to another all that wisdom. From when you go to sleep at night, in the morning you have that full-fledged wisdom. You have not lost one iota, maybe even through a nightmare. And, nothing is lost. Forever you're building. So that is spirituality for me. That level of work and that level of commitment to the self. And when we have that, we can use that commitment for others. Okay. So let's try this. So I want you just to do it with open eyes first, and then we'll do it with closed eyes. So our goal is, I'm going to, in the meditation, offer, go into silence, of course, create the silence, and then offer a couple of suggestions. But I want you to look at whatever comes up. Your challenge is not to think. When it happened, what happened, it just comes up, imagine like a mental frame. You're looking at it, but you are not going to say, you're so-and-so, and then, oh, I feel terrible. You're not bringing down. I just want to see if you can see without thinking. So you will start to think, because that is a habit. When you start to see, Like you see blue clouds, you'll say, oh, beautiful, I see blue clouds. So don't go to the next step. You just will say, okay? So we will start with, you watch me, and I want you to start with rhythmic breathing. So slow down the breathing. For this, you have to slow down the senses, so it's not fast forward because we've had a busy day. So rhythmic breathing is equal breathing. So that means equal inhale and equal exhale. So just let down the guard, and if you want to do it with open eyes, and if you want to close your eyes at some point, you may do that too. So just basically focus on the breath. Thoughts will come up, images basically will come up, but you will not go into thinking. That is the command you give to yourself today. Okay, we're going to make this field quieter. So I want you to actually now start to listen to sounds outside you. So these sounds could be coming from this room, the house, outside. I want you to just listen to the sound and then move your focus from sound to sound without understanding. So it may be a challenge, but you will do it. You've had a great start right now. Body is relaxed, spine is straight, nice, pleasant face. There's no stress. Rhythmic breathing. When you remember, soft, buttery breath, smooth breathing. Bring the attention to inside the body. Listen to the sounds from within, the heartbeat, the pulse. Place attention now on the tongue. All focus on the tongue. Rhythmic breathing. Imagine now a mental screen, a screen almost outside of you. You're looking at it. But I want you to imagine yourself there as you are sitting and meditating. You can see yourself. Don't adjust your body just because you see yourself outside. Don't be critical. Do not think. Leave the image respectfully. Just gaze with rhythmic breathing. Do not disturb with feelings and thinking the image. The image outside of you can change. The person there could look happy, sad, tired, whatever. They could be doing anything at all. You simply gaze without thinking. Remember the rhythmic breathing. Nothing's happening in your body. That's just a mental image. So hold on to the stillness. So remove that image. There's nothing outside to see. Hold the gaze inside. Do not disturb yourself by feeling or thinking whatever you're seeing on the inner mental screen. I'm going to repeat a chant right now 3 times. Remain in silence. Every time I repeat this chant, you will access deeper dimensions of your own mind. Om Namo Shivaya. Om Namo Shivaya. Om Namo Shivaya. Om Namo Shivaya. Rhythmic breathing. Unshakable inner gaze. I want you now on the mental screen to pick up an image of nature. And this could be anywhere in the world. So it could be the Himalayas, it could be an ocean or the rainforest. Whatever image your body and mind need today to integrate this wisdom and intuition. Watch this image. The wind could be blowing, the trees, the leaves are dancing, the river could be flowing, there could be movement in nature, sounds, colors, but simply gaze at this moving image without moving your gaze. Do not think or feel. Gaze. Rhythmic breathing. You can do this practice anytime. Each time you do it, your higher self, your soul will bring up images that hold the hidden wisdom. All you do is gaze with rhythmic breathing, without thinking. Okay, drop the image. Stop looking at the screen. I want you to imagine a color that'll heal the body, mind, soul right now, today. Imagine it coming from the crown, the heavens above, entering your body, trillions of cells, filling up with this vibrant healing light and going down through the cells into the entire body and then into the earth. The healing light anchors you, roots you, so you too remain unshaken. Send this healing light first to the children of the world. So let there be no child without a smile. Let the children be protected, be safe, be guided, be fed, be taken care of. Let there be a mature adult with every child. Send this light to all humanity. Let all beings be awakened, be healed, be enlightened. Send this light to sea life, plant life, animal life. Let all beings be healed, and let the planet be in harmony and balance. Your intention is powerful enough to create and to manifest what you want. Let us close with 3 rounds of Om, loud and clear, bringing the energy back into you. Imagine the energy, the healing you sent out is now being sent back into you. So absorb that back into your body with gratefulness, thankfulness from the cosmos, from the universe, from the people, and from the planet. So with nice deep breath each time. Louder. One more time. Great. Rub your hands. And then bless yourself, touch yourself, head to toe 3 times, bringing the energy back, fully present here and now. Okay. How was the experience?
I blanked out.
You blanked out.
I
Okay.
don't know why.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because it can, the gazing at, you're not doing anything. And it's just rhythmic breathing. So it puts you in a state of calm and peace. And we can check out. But if you do it for shorter periods, you'll stay awake. And then it actually, you start to build that energy more and more. Because if you check out, it's perfect. But then you've lost that part. It's okay, but still. Because you're accessing everything that's sitting in the unconscious. It'll still show up. But you are not an active participant. I like to be actively involved. So, but absolutely. So 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and you can do it in a work scene. Everything is moving, and you're just watching. There's no thought, no thinking. Yeah. How was it? Yeah.
I probably maybe struggled with the thinking. I'm thinking, like, I kept seeing a face, and then I just kept, and then that face would change, and then that face
Yeah.
would change, and then that face would change.
Yeah, yeah. So it's very interesting. You'll have different images rotating.
Okay.
So whatever you need today for tomorrow and for your future, that shows up as images or energetically. And then we are not actually understanding, thinking.
There was no understanding.
Yeah, behind each image it's a storage. Each image stores the wisdom and the intelligence. So that's why you don't respectfully watch and do not disturb that image by thinking. Yeah, because minute you go into thinking, you're thinking with 2% or 1% of the brain. You've lost the game. Yeah.
Near the end, probably right after
Yeah.
I had, then an image came, and it was like a deep, deep connection. It was, I don't know, it was like old
Yes.
and peaceful.
Yes. Yes.
That was a really lovely part.
Yeah. So, Mother Nature, that's why we call it Mother Nature. Nature actually integrates us and heals us more than anything else. So, and when we are, and a lot of us are disconnected from nature. We look at it, oh, great river flowing, but it's all about me. I feel good when I go there. You're not actually communicating with the river or the ocean or the flow of the breeze. You are just made everything about you. I like it. Oh, the wind is too strong today. That day it was nice. I feel so good here. So it's never really, you're not in communion with nature. You just communicate, it's a self dialogue. So that's how disconnected we are. And when we are disconnected from nature, we have disrespect for ourselves and our fellow beings too. It's just hand in hand, it's just a loop. So when we are not connected with nature, we cannot connect with people and their nature, our nature too. We're finding faults then. So it's just a symptom of being disconnected. So nature will come up very often because that is where the healing, the integration takes place. Yeah, that's great. Huh. How about?
So, I would say, I could see myself in the screen when you guided me. I couldn't see experiences, but then when we sort of transitioned to the nature part, like that was pretty vivid as well for me. Because that was, I could see stone, this, like, the mountain stone that's really hard and black. And then I was at a waterfall and I could feel the sort of intensity of
Yeah.
the water, like just crashing down on the stone, and I was there, and like there was like the sound of the water falling as well as
Yes,
the water on
yes.
stones.
Wow.
So that was pretty powerful. For
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Rocks are so powerful because they hold the memory of thousands of years of history on our planet. So when you see the rock, you've gone really to thousands of years old of history of our planet and what has happened to that planet. And so if that comes up, see, that's where we are pulling wisdom from. That's exactly what I'm talking about. There's wisdom in everything. And if we can connect, each image will come as you need it. So if that is the wind, the hurricane, then there was something there that you've missed. Maybe you were scared. Maybe you could not absorb it. Something very unconscious and very hidden, a deep secret of wisdom and treasure lies beyond this rock, in this rock, and you tap into it because your soul will deliver what you need. Be assured, it will not deliver her story, my story. It will only come up with what is needed for you today. Yeah. It's a brilliant intelligence, if you look at it. Yeah. How about you, Pooja?
I think the same thing happened last time. Like I was telling you the last time as well that my mind is overactive. It keeps
Okay.
thinking all the
Yes,
time.
yes.
I just don't remember any of your words of what you've said, what has happened to the meditation. I probably just
Yes, yes.
It's just I may have slept or shut down or
Yeah. So actually a good suggestion for you is talking to yourself that I don't want to be thinking all the time. It's just a command to yourself. See, somewhere you've actually set the intention to see more, to know more. So the mind is saying, okay, let's give her this, let's give her this, let's give her this, right? And you're able binging then on thoughts. And so these are commands we give to ourselves. So if you don't want that rush, you can simply tell yourself that, hey, buddy, let's take it easy. Mind and body is your friend. And say, let's take it because my intention for today is this. So when you set the intention up front, then your body, mind follow the command.
Yeah, but I think I just find this very soothing.
Yes, yes.
Meaning, I find it very powerful to sort of
Okay.
think and come up with
Yes,
solutions.
yes.
So I don't see that as a curse in any way.
Yes.
At the same time, in meditations like these, especially the last one and this one,
Yeah,
it's a very unique way of just
yes.
cutting it off and
But actually, you're still absorbing at another level.
yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, because there's no way that you're not absorbing.
Right.
So, like in hypnosis.
I think more than complaining, I think it's more about me feeling very happy that
Yeah.
I cannot hear anything.
Yes, but you want to not check out. The practice in itself is not to check out.
Right.
So that may be another practice, not this. So because you want to consciously develop your wisdom. So even if you do it for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then other meditations you check out. See, what happens is it's like hypnosis. Even when I'm talking at some level, I've gone past your conscious mind because I take you in with the mantra, especially my sound and the way I would speak has. So I can penetrate, or you can have this wisdom at a deeper level. So you're taking it all, and you've got a very curious mind and intelligence to back it up. So you can analyze, you can use logic, you can use all of that, which is your left brain activity. And then you go into quickly check out the right brain, totally some creative. So that's why we are seeing this, which is great. So I would say do it for 3 minutes or 2 minutes, or just while having coffee. It could be the time of how long it takes for you to have coffee. That at that time, no thinking. Right? Because you've got great assets. You don't want to shut down any of that stuff. But you want to even actually be brighter intuitively, that you just, because you have the capability. So otherwise I wouldn't bother talking so much to you about it. There's a lot of potential there. So how was it, Sushil?
Yeah, for me, I think I need to do it a couple of times, because what happens is that some of the practice which we do kind of interferes with this. So, like for me, my energy body is very sensitive. So when you say be aware of the sound outside, inside.
Yeah.
So I'm aware of the sound, but at the same time, there is movement of energy in my energy body.
Okay.
My chakras. So I can't let go of that. Then I feel what's happening. My energy is moving here and
Okay.
here.
So
that's-
let it move.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't be looking at it.
No,
moving.
I'm not.
Huh. So of course you're still breathing,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
still feeling,
Yeah.
but you're not focused on that.
Yeah, so like it was deep for me. It was I was hearing everything very clear and something. But then again, I don't. My vision is not very vivid. So when you're talking about that, the screen and other things, I see very dark and very, very bright blue color. That's what normally happens to me.
Okay.
Even when I do every meditation, I always see
Yeah.
dark blue.
Yeah.
Very intense.
Yeah.
Bright blue. So that's what I was saying. And then when you said about visualize a saying, so there's the thought came that okay, bang, there's so many beautiful place. But somehow then automatically it went to Himalayas, and then I was thinking of Mahavtar Babaji and his cave,
Yeah.
and that lake in Himachal Pradesh. where
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a statue, and then from there I went to Gangotri.
Yeah.
I've been to that area.
So wherever you've been before,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
went back today.
Yes, it was some of the places
Yeah.
I've been to Gangotri. And
Yeah. No, also where you may have gone,
Mm-hmm.
there's parts and pieces of your consciousness because you meditated there. You were present there
Yes.
in any space-time.
Yeah.
And that's when you went to the cave. So if the vision takes you, if your soul takes you that day to the cave, then just be still there, because the cave holds the entire techniques of spirituality, deep wisdom. So you don't need to see anything then. The cave itself is the space of wisdom and intelligence and deep know-how. For centuries, spiritual masters have used that. And they've left, it's like a depository. So they have deposited there. So your soul went there. You didn't tell yourself to go to Himalayas.
No.
You ended up, right? So I would say that there's, because I feel you're a very innocent man, like pure. So, and you really, you want the next step. There is, somewhere you want to go to the next step.
Yeah.
Because you've manifested this, but you really do want to move on. I could feel it. So, and this will move you, consciously move you. So, and it's...
The question was coming that, so is this the meditation you were talking about that you have to do 40
No,
days,
this
40
is,
times?
that was,
Is it
I'll,
different?
that's, yeah, I'll share that
Okay.
next session.
Okay.
We can go there. But I think do this because you're actually already experiencing that. Yeah,
No, it is, yeah. So it happens to me sometime even
yeah,
during meditation. So once during one of my first thing which I saw during one meditation was that I'm just going through an area and there are like very totally unknown but places, huge number of crystals. There are a lot of crystals
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
And then there's river going
yeah,
and then there is this bridge on this river. And then I'm like kind of thinking there, should I go this way? Should I cross the river or should I go this way?
yeah,
And then I go and then I find beautiful crystals and some of the like statue of Lord Ganesha and Lord Shiva,
yeah.
like that.
So wherever
Yeah, I
you've worshipped, wherever you've been, the soul will take you. And it needs to. That's how we complete ourselves. I didn't have this wisdom or this level of knowing was not taught to me. It has come. It comes from within, and I come up with techniques all the time, as and when I need it. Even the talks, there's nothing really. I may have a little idea of what I want to say, but nothing is practiced. So that level of connection, where on command at will, you pull what you need, yet you're not carrying the burden of your knowledge. Because the trouble with people is that they start to then cite to you what they know. And what do you need to know what they know for? It's not your story. Like, they don't need to know. They need to know their own stuff. And then, so the burden is a big burden on teachers because they learn, then they teach. So, but they have, mastery is where you dump that and you only access that field when you need it. You're not in on position all the time. Yeah. But I feel there's a lot happening. You may even move, I think, because it's a strong shift coming. And that's why it's pulling you even here to do this. Sona, here. Did you want to share? Or?
No, it was good.
Okay, you can share with us. She has deep insights. Okay, I should close here, right? Until next time. So thank you all for coming, and thank you out there. If you have found wisdom in this, please do share the video with others. My website is rubybeti.co if you want to visit it. Now there's all the radio shows are on the website. It's a new website, so it has daily messages. It has a lot of other good stuff, so please do visit that. And let us change the world one thought at a time. Thank you. Namaste.